Cougar Cassidy. What's he sitting there for?
Don't need to sit away. Don't.
What are you sitting there for?
Don't get me here.
No, do you know what? Come
I'll
and...
sit here. I'll sit here.
Alright.
Don't worry about
Grumpy bollocks.
it. Don't worry about it. If
Fucking
you don't
hell.
want to be professional, don't worry about it.
Oh God, like 15-0. Fucking hell.
Don't worry about it.
Fucking hell. TBE over there.
He's got his own training time.
I know. Big time.
Just when I wake up, you know what I mean? I'll come out when I wake up.
Imagine when he's like 21 and 15. Right. Couldn't catch this iFL TV in association with MJ Marber. With me I have Anthony CROLLA. How are you, Anthony?
Good, oh, good, thanks, Cook.
What is that top, sorry?
This is my friend's brand, Intense Menswear, so there's a nice little plug for him.
Yeah, no,
check it.
I like that little spider little thing.
Nice, mate, we're
there.
pleased with that.
Yeah.
Man of style like yourself.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Anthony. First of all, we've been talking for months and months and months. We know about the ABRIL situation, etc., etc., and you're kind of expected to be in a big fight. Was this what you wanted, hoped for, or were you hoping for something more?
Well, obviously, I was hoping for the big one, and but I just put the disappointment of that behind me, and now I've got to make sure I come through September the 13th, and Eddie will deliver something big for us towards, I think, the end of November, towards the end of the year. And in DIAZ, I'm fighting a fighter who's fought in world class before, and I've got to be at my very best to beat him. He's anyone who knows boxing knows, like you say, he has got quite a few losses on his record, but after he had like a shaky start, and then I think he learned how to fight and become a world champion. He's got some great wins. Like I said before, he's been in with Robert Grell. It was a long time ago, but since then he's had good wins. And like I say, I've got to be at my best for September to beat him. But I'm confident since the fight in April, I've improved. I've been working hard, and I believe I will be good enough to beat him on the 13th of September, and then move on to a big one later in the year.
Eddie said that quite a few names were discussed for you as opponent-wise on September 13th, including Hank Lundy, which would have been a very difficult fight. And Eddie, this is what I'm just saying. What Eddie said when he was weighing up the pros and cons of it, it just at this stage wasn't the right fight for you.
No, well, that's I'll be honest. And Eddie said the same there. Hank Lundy's is as hard as any world title fight, and listen, I'm not saying out new here. Nearly all fighters will say this time. I'd fight whoever he's put in front of me. But there was nothing with it. It was just it was a 12-round fight, and if it guaranteed me a world title shot, which it didn't, then I would have happily took it, and it would have been a fight worth taking. But Eddie and obviously the team around me, like, they decided and told me, and say I totally agree with them in that sense. As good of a fight it would have been for me, and there wasn't anything there with it, do you know what I mean? But listen, if that fight gets offered for something, then it's a fight happily that I'd take.
Have you had a bit of stick on the social media sites for you and DIAZ?
Well, do you know what? I've not actually. I've had a good response, but I have had the odd tweet. You know, you get the odd.
And the odd idiot.
Yeah, you get the odd idiot. So you get a few of them yourself, don't you, Cougars? But anyone who knows boxing knows he's been in great class. If you look at his record, it doesn't look the best on paper. But it's a fight, like I say, it's a fight I should be winning. I've got to make sure I do win it, but it's not an easy fight. Like I say, anyone who knows boxing knows it's not an easy fight. And like I say, it's not up to me. If all would have went well, I would have been fighting for a world title on September 13th. But things aren't that straightforward in boxing. You have the politics side of things, and I know Richard ABRIL, he had a lot of problems like that. But like I say, now just make sure I win on the 13th, and then either be a final eliminator against the big name, the kind of names you just mentioned. Then,
well, Figueroa fights Estrada next week on the Kelbrook and Porter undercard, and I think Vasquez fights Mickey Bay on September the 13th
on the Mayweather
undercard. So possible routes for you, those
and then obviously you've got Ray Beltran fighting
Terence Crawford
in November. So I mean, like I say, I'm due a big one sort of the end of November, December. There's possible, if you look in the WBO ratings, of a final eliminator. If you look at the lads around there in the rankings, I'm sure some kind of final eliminator could be made to maybe box the winner. I mean, there's talk about Crawford going up, but you know, to put me in line to fight for that title as well.
Could you just make some comment on the Derry Matthews situation that imploded on Twitter recently?
Yeah, it went. like say that there's talk about it, but Derry.
Were you interested in a third fight with him?
I'll always be interested in a third fight with Derry because it's a great fight and it sells. But at the minute, despite what Derry probably thinks, or what he does think or what he says, I don't need Derry. I don't need Derry. And despite Derry said I've missed my chance now, I don't know what chance he's on about, because he would fight me if Derry got offered the fight tomorrow. He'd take, because it's the biggest fight out there for him. It's the biggest fight out there for him. It's not the biggest fight out there for me. However, I'm sure there is a chance that we will meet. We will meet again. Like I say, I think the people will be always interested in our fights, because we've had two great fights. We've had two great fights, and it's a fight the British public could want to see. The British boxing public could want to see, and I certainly won't rule out a third fight, despite Derry saying I've missed my chance.
Interesting. Things get a bit carried away on Twitter,
course,
from everyone's point of view, because fans get involved in the conversation and bring things to attention. And
people who don't know what they're on about put their 10 pence in and stuff like that.
Absolutely. I was going to value at 5 pence, but
networks,
you overvalued it there.
That's it. That's just the power of social networks, and it works as well. If it sells a fight, it works as well.
I got dragged into this whole thing by someone saying that you're ducking Derry and things like that, and I just
crazy
thought, when you fought someone, regardless of whether you've won or lost twice, you can't say that's what my comment was. You can't say that's all I said.
Yeah.
Like I said, you can't say he's ducked him if they've fought twice,
yeah,
whether you've lost or won, or what drawn, whatever. Regardless of that, you can't say any fighters ducked anyone.
And at the minute now, like I say, the plan is to get like a world title shot or a world title final eliminator later in the year in November. If not, like I say, I'd never rule a third fight out with Derry. It's something I'd want. I know it's something he wants, and I'm sure it'd make for a great fight again. But it's certainly not going to be in the next 1 or 2 fights.
All right, listen, Anthony CROLLA, thanks for talking to iFL TV. Best of luck with the rest of your camp. Duke. And enjoyed my little time in Bolton the other day.
Good, mate. On the hammer.
On the hammer and tyre.
You've had good feedback through the tyre.
I haven't put out my whole clip of the tyre. I'm going to save it. I put your one out. I didn't put my one out.
Next time you come back,
I'll nail that hammer. Trust me.
Yeah.
All right. Anthony CROLLA, thanks for talking to us, and we'll catch up with you soon.
To you, mate.
Thanks a lot, mate.
Take care, pal.
Cheers, mate.